After Jason Blundell released the brilliant map that was Mob of the Dead, Treyarch would hand over the reins once more to the original Zombies head, Jimmy Zielinski, who would ultimately not only would be his send-off, but the send-off for the original storyline and themes that had been priorly established. Bye bye Broken Earth. That's because, as of the final Black Ops 2 map and the games beyond, they're all led by the Mob of the Dead creator, Jason Blundell. We're not there just yet, however, as Black Ops 2's third DLC, Vengeance, which released on July 2nd, 2013, included the conclusion of the Broken Earth storyline with Buried. Everything about this transition in Black Ops 2 was weird. Were DLC 2 and 4 always planned to be led by Jason Blundell? I mean, he did lead Call of the Dead in Black Ops 1 after all, but to split our attention the way Black Ops 2 did was really unprecedented at the time. We wouldn't get anything like this until Black Ops 4, honestly. However, all of those maps were made under Jason Blundell respectively, rather than two creatives sharing the spotlight. Nonetheless, Buried was a true return to form before sunsetting the original iteration of this mode as we know it. Picking up after the events of Die Rise, our crew is sent to an underground town located in Angola. Here is where everything comes to a head. Richtofen versus Maxis. Best man wins. Now, Buried is incredible. It's everything that made Jimmy Zielinski's map so damn fun, all wrapped up in one neat old Western package. Now, I say it's the conclusion to the Broken Earth storyline, which it is. However, I think stepping into this video, it's not an exaggeration to kind of be buried on its own little island, quite not like the rest. In addition, this map features 0 radios regarding the Broken Earth storyline, unlike Tranzit and Die Rise, which both heavily focused on the survivors of the impact of the explosion and the apocalypse, all the above, and the flesh group that popped up. All of that is just pretty much gone. Let me also say that I don't necessarily hate that they went this route. I get it. They were putting a rock in a hard place with both Tranzit and Die Rise. Jimmy Zielinski was being one-upped in the shadows, as once Jason Blundell unveiled the cape off his masterpiece, it was time for Jimmy to wrap things up. And that he did. And this map feels very reminiscent of Black Ops 1 Zombies in quite a lot of ways, which were undeniably Jimmy Zielinski's maps in their prime. Buried is tight and close quarters in all the right ways, as this is a very camp-heavy map, harkening back to the humble roots of World at War and maps like Nocturne Toten and Der Riese respectively. In Black Ops 2, Buried is that respective map. A map raved upon by many, often considered one of the best maps, it's often included in the god-tier era of many Zombies fans, spanning from Mob of the Dead until the end of Black Ops 3 to 4, depending on who you ask. What this results in is the perfect goodbye to this era, to this crew, and to the storyline. And, most importantly, to one of the devs that started it all, Jimmy Zielinski. Buried feels like the true evolution in design philosophy from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 in regard to Jimmy's style of Zombies maps. Black Ops 2 took wild swings in their design philosophy with two visions on the future of the mode, as I've discussed, with one of those visions being made by a man actively snorting 4 lines of coke with a fresh blunt at the finish line because Jimmy was taking swings. And as much as I hate to admit it, they didn't all hit. Tranzit was a polarizing launch to Black Ops 2, to put it lightly, and Die Rise was also really split. However, with Die Rise it took an even heavier beating because this was the second installment, not counting the survival maps. However, if I were, I don't think that would help in Die Rise's case, considering Nuketown Zombies alone was the most polarizing bonus map in many regards of it not being free, unlike 5, but also in the map's gimmick of the randomization of perk spawns. Opinions on Black Ops 2 Zombies before Mob of the Dead would probably receive a much more mixed reaction, depending on who you asked. Mob of the Dead, while not appeasing absolutely everyone, as I know many who simply don't like Jason Blundell's design of a more quest-driven experience rather than the sandbox environment that Jimmy Zielinski's maps overall take on. And oh boy is Buried also that map, which I feel was an aspect where Tranzit and Die Rise were kind of lacking a bit in the sandbox style of Zombies maps, and that's because of two things. Those two things being the map design itself and the inherent addition of the buildable system. Now, in regards to the buildable system, I think this system should have been limited to two things, the shield and the turbine. Put my traps back where they belong. Or in Buried's case, just implement it in a more condensed space that's easy to traverse compared to the behemoths in Tranzit and the verticality of Die Rise. Buried is a much needed breath of fresh air, returning to a far more forgiving layout, while also in that right being the most beautiful, the most well received of the trio, and manages to this day be one of my, if not favorite, Jimmy Zielinski maps. Bar none, at least in its terms of setting, but even then, Buried is a god tier map. For the first and only time for a Jimmy Zielinski maps, and I'm sorry I keep saying the name Jimmy Zielinski, this is the only map of his not to feature the classic round change music, and actually went with an original ethereal western score. And thank God that they went this route, as without it, I think it honestly would get rid of a lot of the character that this map has to offer. Buried also introduces us to a new unique gameplay element that actually has a lot of functionality and is quite useful. And yes, I'm talking about Leroy. He's my boy. Well, I mean, I guess technically his name is Arthur, but that's okay. Anyway, by giving the thirsty fucker a bottle of booze, he'll charge up and break down areas of the map that were once inaccessible. And when fed candy from the candy shop, he will do a variety of things. Feed him near a buildable table, for example, and he'll do that boring crap for you, bypassing that god-awful Tranzit buildable system in the process. Want to move the mystery box? Give Leroy some fucking candy facing a mystery box spawn. Want a mystery box to reside permanently there? Give Leroy some candy by the box. Even by giving Leroy candy near zombies will make him geek out in what I can only assume to be a candy and booze-induced rage. However, if you give the guy a crawler to hold, that usually settles him down. Leroy's a good cuddler. Don't ask how I know that. In addition to the new gameplay elements, we also get a new wonder weapon, the Paralyzer, which allows players to fly up higher, harder to reach spaces. Buried was pulling all the punches with the introduction of the Ray Gun Mark II as well, which was also retroactively added to every prior Black Ops 2 map, as well as the new time bomb equipment, which when placed sets a save state at the round and that time you place the bomb, which means at round 30 you can go back to round 4 with the click of a button. Which means not only is it essential for the Easter egg, but it's also very effective at trolling friends. Speaking of Easter eggs, wow, that almost makes Tranzit and Die Rise worth it. While still requiring 4 players, which sucks, at the very least, Buried makes it worth it. Not only does this Easter egg contain one of the best steps in my opinion with the sharpshooter step at the very end of the Easter egg, in addition to that, by completing Tranzit and Die Rise's Easter eggs prior, opens the door to one of 2 hidden endings, which is decided based on whose side you've been following, that being Maxis or Richtofen. This inclusion is amazing and really brings back a lot of that epic Black Ops 1 flair, and is honestly on par with the Moon ending in my opinion, although I do prefer Maxis ending myself. This was really well done for an otherwise lackluster story that failed to reach the highs of Black Ops 1 Zombies. Adding that on top with putting the main wonder weapon, the Paralyzer, back in the mystery box, it just is the cherry on top of what makes Buried so special. It complements well with what was established in Black Ops 1 Zombies and with what Jimmy Zielinski brought to the table with Black Ops 2 Zombies. And it meshes well so beautifully. I just wish the other 2 maps were more like Buried. Although I still absolutely fucking love Tranzit, I will stand by that. Overall, Buried gives us a glimpse of how good the rest of Jimmy Zielinski's Black Ops 2 maps could have been, reeling in OG fans one last time to say goodbye. Buried is one of my favorite maps of all time, and Jimmy and his team absolutely nailed the execution from everything from the aesthetics to the overall gameplay loop with the amazing new wonder weapons and the conclusive finality of this map's narrative, while also leaving the door open for the future. It's by no means as innovative and groundbreaking as Mob of the Dead, and I feel like that reflects my overall thoughts on this map in a sense, as there's not a whole lot to say about this map. It is a good zombies map. Very good. Pretty easy. I can mention the difficulty, I guess, yeah. It is very easy, but it's also a very, very fun time. It's not very balanced, but most good zombies maps aren't to a degree. And on that note, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's been a minute since my last upload, and I thank you guys for sticking around during the wait. The Switch 2 came out, and life changes have been occupying my time as of late. Anyways, guys, that's Buried, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you for the grand finale of Black Ops 2 Zombies. Origins.